everybody, welcome to the Mom Series, The Misunderstanding of Multiplicity. My name is Maria. Okay, so happy Wednesday, and we're getting to the end of February, and I wanted to just make a quick video. Well, I say it's going to be quick. You guys who come to my channel, you know it's never that quick. I've been saying I want to read from a chapter in my favorite book that is called, if I can get it, looks upside down to me, but it might not be to you. The Myth of Sanity by Dr. Martha Stout, publisher of Viking. I'm going to read a chapter and I'll skim around it. But first, I'm going to tell you about a bunch of stuff that's going on for DID awareness. And I do want to say, if you go to the ISSTD, alphabet soup, the International Study of Trauma and Dissociation, they are having their annual conference March 2nd. It begins, and it will go on till, if you do the webinar, it'll go on forever if you take a course from the webinar. But they're joining again with Infinite Mind and Jamie Pollack, the Jamies, and Jamie Pollack, who is a professional EMDR counselor and also a survivor, and has what used to be called DDNOS is now called unspecified dissociative disorders. So she has been living with DDs and being a counselor. There's going to be a lot of counselors, social workers, psychologists who do have dissociative identity disorder, or DDNOS or OSDD, other specified dissociative disorders. And they're all professionals and they're trying to get the word out. So together, Infinite Mind with System Speaks, with who else is going to be there? Beauty After Bruises this year. It's always where the money goes. If you're going to take a course, if you're going to go to the conference actually in Seattle, if you're going to actually go to the conference in Seattle, all the proceeds go to split 3 ways between the ISSTD, Beauty After Bruises, which is for trauma survivors, and they actually help people get therapy, even if they have to go to a hospital and do work or whatever. They're there for them for a long time, for anyone. And you don't have insurance, you need a therapist. Beauty After Bruises will help you out. You want to talk to Jamie Pollack, you want to talk to Ellen at System Speaks, you want to talk to Lori. So between Infinite Minds, Beauty After Bruises, and the International Society for Study of Dissociative Disorders, the conference will be all the people that are doing dissociative work. Hey, baby, say hello. This is Dustin, my cat. Will be there. And then there'll be a webinar, of course. So if you need any continuing credits, like the course I'm taking is a 6-unit credit, they will adjust the price to what you can afford. So if you're, I believe you have to go register, get registered, go to the ISSTD. I will leave a link for you. Register. You could take 1 course, you could take 2 courses, you could be there at the whole thing. But March 2nd is DID Awareness Day. DID Awareness Day is a day that we take to just talk to your friends and your relatives about what dissociative disorders are and what dissociative identity disorder really is, or maybe make a video, or maybe let people know, hey, you've been diagnosed. Maybe you're a professional out there, like I was, a social worker who was diagnosed, and back in the day, it was called multiple personality disorder, MPD. And if you go to ISSTD, it will tell you it's still called MPD in a lot of circles. So there's a little bit of riffraff about that too. Do we call it DID or do we call it MPD? It's really the same thing. It's not the same thing not at all, but some people still call it MPD. So I always like to say that because there'll be some new DIDers out here that are like, you're so you're so way back in the you don't know shit because you're still calling it MPD and it's really DID. Like, okay, let me break this down for you. If you go to the ISSTD, if you go to the webinar, the conference, or DID, you're going to get a lot of people there that are saying DID awareness, still called MPD. It's, it's just alphabet soup, you guys. They just change a little bit of the criteria, what overlaps and what doesn't, and really go from personality to ego states and alter egos, which it's it's alphabet soup. So, DID awareness or MPD awareness, whatever you're calling it, is March 2nd. Get out there, tell a friend. You know how you always think I'm kind of moody, maybe? Or maybe you think I am so awesome that I have so many hobbies, that I'm all over the place, that one career isn't enough. Oh no, I'm not happy being a nurse. I'm not happy being a social worker. I'm not happy being a hairdresser. That's my story. That's my story. I want to be a hairdresser. I want to be a nurse. I want to be a social worker. I want to be a Go to school for all of it. Wear your body down. Can't do none of it. End up on disability. Oh yeah, that's my story. But but in each one of the jobs I did, I shined. I was a teacher too. I did really well. So I had my moment where I just flew. Did great. And then I had to get down to the grunt work of therapy. And the myth is that you have to stay in therapy forever, that it's going to be long, that you're never going to get better, that you're going to be broken, that mm, that you're going to need long-term management, that you might do horrible things, that your memory is so blotched out that you don't really know what you're doing. We're going to talk about that a lot because that is going to be addressed in this conference. There is a big confusion between three things. People that lose complete memory, never get it back, never even bits and pieces, like they blank out totally, that they should be called DID, and they also switch between alter personas, but aren't aware of what each other are doing. And then DDNOS or other specified or OSDDs, which is other specified dissociative disorders, where they can kind of like float in between, like, oh, I'm flipping out every now and again. I'm spaced out. I'm a little daydreamy. I'm a little numbed out. I'm a little depersonalized, a little everything seems de-real. I'm not really here. I can see what's going on, but I am here. So I didn't lose time. I didn't have amnesia. So there's a big gap between those ebbs and flows of memory. And I think back in the day, and I'm just going to be honest, back in the day, it was easier to correct my behavior and adjust it. So I want to confess that back in the day, and my therapist knows this, I would just say, I don't know. I don't know, I don't remember. And that was part of my denial. It was part of what I used in therapy to not talk about what I needed to be accountable for. I had this easy excuse. I had this, my brave moment. I did this with family. I did this with my therapist, but my therapist knew I was doing it. He'd be like, he knew, he knew. And I knew. I would just kind of like test it out. And he would like draw it out of me and be like, but you just did that and you said you did that. So you do know that you did that. Like, yeah, okay, well, yeah, sort of whatever. I try to change the subject. So when we're faced with shame, and there's going to be a little blame, self-blame, and we have to be accountable, but we have a handy dandy excuse like, I got a disorder where I'm just going to go between alters and my memory just blipped out. I don't know. Oh, I said that? No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. It must have been an alter. I didn't say it. I said it really? Oh my God. Oh, okay, you caught me. I said it. All right. So all I can think of is at the end in Primal Fear. Those of you that have seen the movie, gotcha. Okay. So do we do that Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Come on, let's be honest. Have we ever done that? Have we ever said, I didn't do it, my alter did it? Have we? I'll be the first to raise my hand in peace and say I've done it. That's going to be discussed in this conference, is that it is easier for some people on the spectrum of dissociative disorders to say, I didn't do it, my alter did it, and I don't remember. And it is easier on the spectrum for some people with what used to be called DDNOS and others are now other specified dissociative disorders to say, oh yeah, I was kind of spacey, I was numbing out, but I'm perfectly aware of what's going on, so I can keep being a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, a mother, a wife. I'm fine. Okay, so people are on that spectrum all over the place. Back in the day, and still today, excuse me, the media doesn't show that. The textbooks, the seminars, and sadly, media is true accounts. People out here who are talking about their experience and playing show and tell. Like, I'm going to show you all the alters. You're going to get to know them, and you're going to catch a switch on camera. So it's kind of like that dog and pony circus show that went on talk shows and everything. And if we really, really, really want to be honest about DID, I think it's time we all come clean and recognize where we are on the spectrum. Like, are we in that co-conscious running with more than one, but still losing glimpse of time? Or are we not willing to admit when we're accountable for something? And it's just easier to say, oh no, I have a headache and I must have blanked out. So it really falls on the DID community to start teaching people truthfully what this is. And that means we have to be honest with ourselves. So I wanted to quick make this video and then I'll come back in my next video and read. I keep saying I'll read it, but it's kind of a lengthy beginning of a first chapter, but it is a chapter on disassociation. So my next video would just be the beginning chapter of disassociation and old souls. Because I think Dr. Martha Stout is somebody that nobody really talks about. But she wrote The Myth of Sanity, Divided Consciousness, and the Promise of Awareness by Martha Stout. And her book begins, I'll just say, with a quote from Buddha. With our thoughts, we make our world. With Buddha. With our thoughts, we make our world. If you go to my Facebook page, you will see my cover photo is Everything You Think. And it's from the atrium in Prince's home in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and studio, Paisley Park. So in that atrium, Prince had printed on, when you first walk in, like above the atrium, everything you think is true. Like, that's true. So who creates our reality? We do, we do, we do. So with our thoughts, we make our world. Buddha. Jesus said it first, probably. I don't know. Maybe Buddha said it first. I shouldn't even go there, but somebody said it first. But our words create our reality, what we tell ourselves, what we allow people to tell us, what we allow to be spoken over us.